Hey guys, it's Ozzy from Old Dixie Loaders and Supply. Hey, I'm going to make a video today on the Atrius trigger, and unfortunately, it's not a good review. The product is just not very good, unfortunately. We had a lot of high hopes for it. One of my clients bought several of them, and we tried to install them. They're just not very well manufactured. They're definitely not worth the money. We tried two separate triggers. The first problem was with their cast selectors. They're casted, not CNC'd. And they're, as you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can still see the casting marks, and they're just not very well made at all. Tim, when we got the first one, had to really polish it down in order to make it work because it was bent, or at least it was not spec. It was out of spec. So he actually had to, as you can see, really work on it. Finally got it to get into the hole for the selector, and it just wasn't working. We managed to work it a little bit, but what it did is it ended up ultimately damaging the trigger on the back. This is the trigger, the Atrius trigger, select fire trigger, 3 positions. They're really not made very well. You can see that they're just roughly made, and their triggers, everything is really sharp on the edges. They're just not well made, and when we were using it, that selector actually damaged the little rocking, part back here, to the point where it's not working anymore. It's damaged. We did a couple of videos. It didn't take long for it to not work. The first trigger would not. I think maybe it shot initially select fire. I think the first time we did it was single action only. It didn't work in the third position. We got another trigger and tried it thinking that maybe the other trigger would be better. We actually called Atrius the first time. They don't have a voicemail that's set up. So I sent them a couple of emails from their website because they don't have a direct email, and they never answered me. Eventually I called them, and I actually got somebody on the phone, and he said they knew of the problem with the selectors being out of spec, and he said he was going to send me 6 new selectors that were supposed to be in spec, and we got them, and I don't see any difference in them. They did go in a little bit easier, the one we did with another trigger, but again, it just didn't work. We tried it. It went forced reset for a little while, and then it just wouldn't go to single, and then it just didn't work effectively, and it's a waste of your money is what it comes down to. And they don't answer the phone. We called Percission Triggers, who is the company that my partner bought, or not my partner, one of our customers bought the original triggers from. And we spoke to somebody who said that they were the owner. His name was Doug, and he said he was going to call Atrius and have them ship us 6 new triggers that were tested and functional. And he never got back to me. He never called me from Atrius. And I've texted Doug a couple times, and he never returned my text. So I'm just assuming that it's a wash. It's a loss. So like I said, it's a waste. And when you take a look, I actually have a rare breed trigger here. This is one of the original rare breed triggers. This is so much better made. If you take a look, all the sharp edges were taken off of it, and it sits into the lower much better. It's just better made. And as I understand it, that Rare Breed Triggers is going to be releasing something called the E3 trigger in the very near future. And that will be a 3-position forced reset trigger as well. And man, I'll tell you, when that comes out, and I think it's actually going to be a little cheaper. I don't know. But the bottom line is Rare Breed produces a much better product. So I'm suspecting that it'll blow Atrius out of the water. I don't think they're doing very well anyways. They don't even have a video that shows you how to insert the trigger. So it's on you. They did mention that there's a little screw that you can set in the back, but honestly, They don't show you how to do that. They don't give you any information for you to insert this trigger, install this trigger, which they should. They should have a little video that shows you how to do that. Our gunsmith, Tim, is an expert in the M4, M16 platform, very familiar with selectors and how they work and how the triggers work. And he just was not impressed at all with this particular trigger. And definitely has no interest in them at all. So I feel bad to have to tell you guys this, and I don't like dissing a company, but Atrius doesn't return phone calls, and they don't make a good product. And it was interesting that Doug from Percission Triggers, which sells Atrius triggers, said that that the guy who designed the trigger with Atrius actually wasn't a very good engineer. So, or at least didn't engineer it very well. So sorry about that, guys. If you have an Atrius trigger, sorry about that. But if you were thinking about an Atrius trigger, don't bother. It's just not worth it. It's not a great trigger. Wait till Rare Breed comes out with their E3 trigger. I think you'll be much happier. Okay? So again, I'm really sorry that I have to bring this, this bad news to the market. But I've seen other videos online that trash Atrius, and I can understand why. All right, so I don't even think that my client is getting his money back. He's working on that now, but we're holding on to his triggers until they tell him whether they'll send it back and give him back his money or not. Okay, so again, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or if you have any thoughts on this Atrius trigger, by all means, please put it in the comments portion on the bottom of the channel. Okay. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.